Hello, ladies, and welcome back to Ethos Lab. That name was suggested by Nintendo Toko. Most definitely said his name wrong. Yeah, we're at our lab here. I'm anxious to get this all built and get everything working here. I've completed the circle for the black wool. It's really dark here. I'm a little worried about placing torches because they will melt our ice below if I'm not careful, so I'm going to make a backup before I do that. And as you can see, we have a huge floating thing above us now instead of just a small floating thing. I started expanding this floor out of snow. Still got ways to go. This will be the mob sorting floor, as I said before. And it will also be our ceiling for this room down here. Although we may, if it seems like it's too high, we may add extra floors in between and lower the ceiling. It's up to us. We can decide later. I moved our ladder. It's over here now. And it looks like I'm going to have to move it again because it's in the way again. And yeah, things are different around here now. So what happened is I realized that the spawning pads were just too small. I'll explain how I figured that out later. But yeah, that was the problem. They're too small, so I expanded them here. Before we just had that one, and that one. 4 spawning pads. 100. Turn this down. We had 100 blocks of spawning space. I added this one in the center. Many of you suggested that. And then I added these ones on the side. So we have 12 big pads now and this little one in the center. So we had 100 spots originally. Now we have 305, 6, 8. 5, 13. 313 spawnable spots now. And we will get rid of this little extra stuff we have. I also realized last episode that I built my spawning pads in the wrong place. They were shifted over 1 block, so I fixed that. To extend this, I simply went up 1 block vertically and extended out another 8 blocks. So we have another full-length water stream here. That's one of the reasons why I've made my diamond-shaped spawning pads base 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with a 1 block airspace between each one. Because that makes it 8 blocks, so that's the same length as water will flow. So this works out pretty much perfect if we want to extend it. And it's these spawning pads are up higher 1 block as well. Sorry about that, mine sheep. Bad habit. Okay, the one thing I need to decide right now is what I'm doing for the ceiling in here. People have told me not to use sandstone since it's a snowy biome. I like using sandstone. I've tried both here, and I believe I'm going to use sandstone for the ceiling. Now keep in mind there's not going to be any snow or ice anywhere near these passive mob spawning pads. You won't see any snow or ice, and the sandstone's going to be covered, so I don't think there's anything wrong with using it. It's not going to clash with snow and ice because there'll be none around, basically. And over here I had a test set up where I was seeing what level grass will stay alive if it's covered by water. As you can see, none of it has disappeared here. Lucky for me, I saw in my comments for last video a guy named Skyliner W tested this out, and he found grass will stay alive if it's at light level 7 or more, if it's covered with water. So we have torches here. That's light level 14 at the torch. Down 1 block's 13, 12 above the grass there. Except water lowers light by 2 instead of just 1 like air does, so it would actually be 11 directly below at this point here. 11, 10, 9. So I could go another 2 blocks covered with water and it still wouldn't, the grass still wouldn't die if it was covered by water at this light level. So that's good to know. So I'll have glowstone in the ceiling. Yeah, I'm going to take a break from talking. I'm going to work on expanding this using sandstone, and then I will be back. So this is pretty strange. I came back here to get some sandstone, some glowstone. I've got 3 minecarts running around my track now. Don't know what the deal is with that, because I am positive I only had 1 going around before. I have no idea where the other 2 came from. I'm not kidding. And they're evenly spaced. That is one of the strangest things. Anyway, I'm gonna get my glowstone. I have a stash, actually. Went to the Nether a while ago and explored some new areas. I died by the zombie pigmen turning on me unexpectedly again. I got super mad, like unbelievably mad. Not that mad actually, but I was pretty ticked off. And I had no idea where I was. Far away from like the starting point in my nether. Somehow I managed to find my way back within the 5 minutes, and I got all my stuff back. I almost lost 2 stacks of glowstone though, which would have really sucked. Yeah. Anyway, back to the lab. Okay, we're back here again. I'm just finishing up this sandstone giant plus sign we're making here. It's going to cover over everything below. So above some of the spawning pads, the ones on the outside, it's only going to be 2 high, 2 blocks high. And the middle ones, it's going to be 3 blocks high. We'll have glowstone in the ceiling in places to prevent the grass from dying if there's water being poured down, to prevent passive mob spawning. Again, you don't really need this feature, I don't think. I don't even really need it, but if you want to do it, it's up to you. Somebody told me the other day that squid have their own mob limit of 8, and I agree with that. It seems to make sense. When you're moving around though, you'll have a lot of mobs, like you might see over 40 or so. And that's because there's a lot of ocean around. When it tries to place them, it'll place a bunch. There's lots of spots available. Because what the game does when it's placing the mobs, it'll go through all the chunks every cycle, and it'll there goes my awesome explaining skills again. Yeah, so like for every cycle, if the mob count is below the mob limit, then it will try place mobs and it'll go through all the chunks, and if at that chunk they're able to place mobs, they will. And it's possible that they could place mobs in every single chunk if it picks the right place every one of those chunks, but that's unlikely. But if you have lots of ocean, it's more likely that they will find a spot for the squid to spawn, and then it will place them, and it can place as many as it wants in that cycle. And then you might have 40 squid after that one cycle, which is above the limit of 8, assuming that's what it is. So the next cycle, it won't try to place any mobs because it's above that limit. So when you're exploring new areas, it's likely that, like this is common, that you'll see lots of squid, but if you're in that area for a long time, the number of squid seems to dwindle down to around 8 or so. Maybe slightly higher. And I don't know, I'm rambling about that. It's really late here, I'm just trying to fill time in this episode, I guess. You could say. So that I can get it out tonight, otherwise it's going to be another day without Minecraft. Okay, that's done. Sweet. We're just below the clouds. And it's really dark under here now. So our next step will be, we'll have walls out here. I'm not really sure what I'm going to use. I'm guessing sandstone. And above every center of these pads, there'll be a hole that water can flow down to flood it. So I'm going to work on that. I have to come up with some pattern for the glowstone. Probably try to place 4 for every pad. 4 glowstone per pad type thing. Evenly spaced. And I'll see you in a few minutes as I work this out a bit. So we're up here again. I'm thinking we're going to work on setting up our water shut-off system. And I believe we're going to use 1 water bucket per for every 2 spawning pads. So these are the centers everywhere I have these blocks missing. I think it'll work best if we have a regular piston over here and water being held in place in here, and when released it will flow to the 2 holes because it's in the center of both of them. And when the piston is powered, it'll shut it off. I think that's the way we'll do it. Whew, I felt my game lag when I shut that water off. Yeah, so for all the outside ones, piston there. Water held there. You really don't need much to it. This is pretty simple. Those animals are really annoying. And 1 more here. 2, 3, 4. I thought we were going to do the mob spawning today, or the mob sorting, but I don't think that's going to happen at this rate. Okay, so now we have, I guess there's only 5 more holes left. And this one is, if we place water here, it'll cover 3 of the holes. So maybe we'll do that. Oh, but you know what? No, yeah, that'll work. That will work. Pretty sure. Or, no, it's not gonna work. Yeah, we don't really want that though, because it's gonna wreck our wiring. Okay, do that, and one here. Like that. And we'll have one final one over here. I do have redstone on me, not much, but should be close to enough. I wonder what the best way of doing this would have been. Okay, well, I'll finish this up. This is getting really boring. And then we will be back. I got this wired now. Didn't use too much redstone. So the control is going to be on this side here. And redstone powers this one. Signal flows, goes to the very center one here. Splits off to the right and left. The right one powers this piston here. Also goes off to this side. And it also goes... no, it ends there. This side goes off that way. Powers this one here. This wire here powers this. And it keeps going here to this very far one. So very minimal requirements for this. And one of my goals was keeping this all within 2 blocks high. That's why I have the repeaters like this, to send power through this block to the other side, because I need this open, because water flows through here. So that's how we get our redstone wire over our wire. That's how we get our redstone wire over our water stream within 2 blocks height. Switch it. Really lags the game when you switch it, because that's a lot of water currents to update. For about 30 seconds to a minute, then it seems to settle down. Now it's pretty much settled. Yeah, pretty simple. Oh dang, I'm killing all my grass here. No! Shut it off! Shut it off! Ah. Yeah, I don't have the glowstone up yet, so the grass will die like this pretty quickly. Brutal. Right, so we need glowstone in here. Let's see. Diagonally. How should we space it? This is the center. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About a 7 block gap between holes. In some places, though, it's 8. So, I think maybe we'll just have redstone the second block out diagonally from the center. So one here, one here, one here, and one here on all spawning pads. I'm thinking. Maybe I'll try that out and then we will be back. I'm going to make a backup first. Alright, so this is what the glowstone looks like, spaced like that. I'm pretty happy with it. Looks okay to me. Let me know what you guys think. I do have a backup in case I want to change my mind. Yeah, it should work good. Most of the grass has grown back now. That died from the water. Now that we have the glowstone, it shouldn't die. This is what it looks like with them all flowing. It will mess up the water patterns below, which will likely trap animals in the system at the time. But this is not a feature I really intend on using all the time, if at all ever. If I do want to switch the passive mob spawning off, it'll probably be for long periods of time. And as soon as I walk away from this area, any mobs that are stuck up here will despawn. Actually, I don't even have to leave the area because on these spawning pads, my Y coordinate is 102, and down by the EMP units is 71. So it's about 31 blocks above that. Mobs despawn if they're 32 blocks away from you in three-dimensional space, so they should despawn if I'm on the EMP. Well, I guess it'll be a little bit lower. It'll be about 27, 28 blocks above me. And if I'm slightly sideways from them, they will be over 32 blocks away. So they'll despawn if they're stuck up here, even if I'm in the area. But yeah, it's a feature I don't really plan on using much, if at all ever. But it's nice to have, just in case I need it for something. Right, so let's shut it off. Cool thing is the glowstone lights it up here, and it also lights it up below, so it's double function. And all these water streams are thawed out now. I thawed them. We do need sidewalls for here. And I'll do that off camera after this episode. Let me know if I should use cobblestone, if I should use sandstone, if I should use snow. Tell me what you think, or any other block for the sides. Yeah, so water pulls them all to the center, and then they fall down that 3 wide hole there. They'll try to fight it a little bit, but they can't forever. Not sure if having ice below would make that better, and I don't know if it's really worth the hassle even if it does. But I am kind of curious. Okay, we're gonna go down below. Alright, so the reason why I made the spawning pads bigger is because of this experiment I did here. I have the mobs falling down to their death once they get to that center point. So they die quickly so that more mobs can spawn on the pads. And what I found is, with only 100 spawnable spaces, the mobs just weren't spawning quick enough. There's only about 5 to 10 up there at once, maximum. And since the passive mob spawning cap is bigger than that, let's say, I don't know what it is. I think it's either 15 to 25, somewhere around there. So that's how many mobs I want up there when I'm running this test, and that's what I have now, that the pads are bigger. I gotta kill all these chickens, otherwise they just run away. They have no way of dying. at the moment. But yeah, I see 3, 5. There's about 15 passive mobs up there all the time. So the mob system, the spawning pads can keep up at this rate, which is good. And once I add the mob sorting stuff, it'll take them slightly longer to die in these EMP units, because they'll have to travel a little bit further. So that'll give them even more time to spawn up there. So at this rate, it seems to be good. It's just a constant stream of falling mobs. And so far, I haven't had any problem with the mobs not spawning glitch, so I think building my spawning pad on the 4 region borders is working out good, because they seem to spawn in all 4 regions still. As far as I can tell. My other passive mob system, it would work for about 5-10 minutes, then it would just stop working for, you know, half an hour to an hour. And I'd have to leave the area and then come back to get it working again. This one just keeps on working, which is really, really good. I'm happy about that. Okay, so we're gonna end it here, and maybe, hopefully next time we'll work on the mob sorting, if we do another mob episode. And I will see you then. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye. Yada yada yada. It's always fun.